Welcome everyone. Let's begin our lesson for today by going over the learning goals and success criteria. First, what are we learning? We're learning how to convert between trinomials and squared binomials, how to complete the square by splitting up the constants within a quadratic equation, and how to use completing the square to determine the vertex of a quadratic equation. How are we learning it? Through the Vertex Form Part II notes and the Vertex Form Part II assignment. When can we use this information? To rearrange your schedule in order to make space for another event. How do you know you learned it? By getting a score of 4 on the Vertex Form Part II assignment. Now let's take a look at our agenda for today. We will begin by going over the learning goals and success criteria. While we do that, you'll fill out your Get It Started. Once you've completed your Get It Started, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. After that, we'll go over the Vertex Form Part II notes, and then I'll give you time to complete the Vertex Form Part II assignment on IXL. Once you've completed the assignment, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. At the end of class, we'll go back over our learning goals and success criteria while you fill out your Before You Go. Your only homework for tonight is to continue working on the quadratic study guide and any incomplete assignments that you may have. Let's take a look now at the Vertex Form Part II notes. The notes begin with the learning goals and success criteria. Now, first of all, what is the vertex of a quadratic? The vertex of a quadratic is the point where the graph changes directions. So what that means is it might start by going up, but then it's going to change directions and start coming back down. So that is a change of direction. So example would be, right here, we're going up until we reach this point right here. As soon as we reach this point, we start going back down. This point right here would be considered the vertex. Now, how do we find the vertex? The vertex of a parabola is found by using this formula. A times x minus h squared plus k. Now, this should look pretty familiar because this is basically the completing the square of a quadratic. So the h value is the x coordinate. Now, what is a perfect square trinomial? A perfect square trinomial is a trinomial that looks like this. X squared plus 2bx plus b squared. So b is some value. It'll be actually a constant. And the number here should be exactly double it. So an example of this would be x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we know that 9 is 3 squared, and 3 times 2 is 6. So this is a perfect square trinomial. When we factor this, we recognize that this becomes x plus 3 times x plus 3, or x plus 3 squared. We'll look at another example. Now we have 2x squared minus 12x minus 4. So we're going to factor out the lead coefficient because we can't complete the square if there's a number in front. So we're going to divide everything by 2. So now we get 2 times x squared minus 6x minus 2. Now we go through our steps like we did before. So we take negative 6 and divide it in half. Well, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. We square that and we get 9. So that's what we need it to be. But instead we have negative 2. So we need to rewrite this. How do we get from 9 to negative 2? Well, we subtract 11. So now we have 2 times x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 11. Now we rewrite it as a perfect square trinomial. So we get x squared minus 6x plus 9, and that becomes x minus 3 squared. And then we take this part and we just need to distribute the 2 back to it. So 2 times negative 11 is negative 22. So we get 2x minus 3 squared minus 22. Now there's a video here that shows you how you can use Symbol Lab to help check your work when completing the square. So go ahead and watch that video now. Let's take a look now at how we can use Symbol Lab to check our work when working with completing the square. So we go to Symbol Lab and we go to the completing the square calculator. We're going to go here and type in our equation. So let's say it's x squared minus 4x plus 9. We're going to go ahead and click Go. It shows us what it should be at the end, which is x minus 2 squared plus 5. And if we scroll down, it'll actually show us the steps of how to get there. So here's how we would do that. So this is one way that you can check your work when completing the square using Symbol Lab. Now, how do we find the vertex then? So once we've completed the square, now we just plug this in. So we recognize that this is the h value, and it's always supposed to be minus h. So my h value is just here, so this is going to be positive. So it's positive 3. And then my k value is supposed to be positive. So this one's negative, so it would be minus 22. So my vertex would then be 3, negative 22. So that's how I find the vertex once I've completed the square. Now there's a video here showing you how you can use Desmos to check your work when trying to find the vertex of a quadratic. So go ahead and watch that video now. Now let's take a look at how we can use Desmos to check our work when checking the location of the vertex of a quadratic. So we go to desmos.com and we're going to click on Graphing Calculator. Now whether it's in standard form or vertex form, we can type it in either way to check our work. So we can type in y equals 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. And we can see the exact location of the vertex. And if we click on it, it'll tell us exactly where it is. So it's at x equals 1, y equals 1. We could also do it in vertex form. So y equals x minus 3 squared plus 5. And we can see here that our vertex, if we click on it, is at 3, 5. So this is how you can use Desmos to check your work when trying to find the location of the vertex of a quadratic. Let's talk now about how to access your assignments on IXL using SBLink. So what you'll do is you'll click on the link that takes you to your SBLink, which should look like this, and you're going to log in the same way you would log into your computer. So the first part for your username is going to be the first part of your email address without the @sbcusd.ca.us. So it should be your last name, first initial, middle initial, and then the last 4 of your student ID. Then for your password, it's the same password you use to log into your Chromebook. From there, you'll go ahead and click Sign In. And it should take you to a page that looks kind of like this. You're going to go find the link that says IXL, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. And it should take me to the IXL login page. So it should look like this. At the top right corner, it should say welcome and then your name. If it does not say your name, then you're not logged in and you won't receive credit for your work. As long as this is good, you can go ahead and close that tab out. And then you can go to your Google Classroom. And then you'll go and find the activity, which is here. And I'm going to click on the IXL link right here. And this will take me to the assignment that I need to complete. So that's how you log into your assignments on IXL using SBLink. Let's take a look now at the Vertex Form Part II assignment. The assignment begins with the learning goals and success criteria. We'll go ahead and scroll down. If we look at the bottom of the page, there's a link here that'll take you to SBLink. This will allow you to log in so that you can access your IXL activity. Once you've logged in, return to this page and then click on this link to take you to the IXL activity. And it should take you to a page that looks like this. So the first question asks, the equation of a parabola is equal to y equals x squared minus 10x plus 25. Write it in vertex form. Well, we know it's going to start with y equals, and then we're going to take this part here, the b, and cut it in half. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. So we know it's going to be x minus 5, and then we're going to put squared. So that's the beginning part. Now we need to see what we need to add on the outside. So to do that, we're going to take negative 5 and square it. Well, negative 5 squared is positive 25, which is already what we have. So we don't have to do any more work. We can leave it just like that and hit submit, and it tells us that one's correct. Then it sends us on to the next one. Next one, y equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. Well, again, we start with y equals, and then we're going to put parentheses. We're going to cut this in half. So half of negative 6 is negative 3. So this is x minus 3. And then we hit squared. Now, if we square 3, we get 9, which is exactly what we have already. So we don't need to add anything on the outside. So we just go ahead and hit submit. We'll do one more together. So we have y equals x squared minus 8x plus 10. So we have y equals, we're going to cut this in half. Half of negative 8 is negative 4. So x minus 4 squared. Now, if we square negative 4, we get 16. But we only have 10 here. So we need to figure out, how do we get from 16 to 10? Well, we subtract 6. So we put minus 6 on the outside and then hit submit. It tells us we got it right and sends us on to the next one. So this is how you complete this activity. Once you're done with the activity, go ahead and head back to Google Forms and click Next. This will take you to your Before You Go. Go ahead and fill out your Before You Go and then submit your work on Google Classroom.